Have you ever felt like you're stuck? Like you're trying to grow, but your foundation is just impossible? Like you're a seed planted not in rich soil, but on solid, unforgiving rock? Well, what if I told you there's a place on Earth where this isn't a metaphor? A place where an entire sprawling forest is doing the impossible, growing directly out of stone. This isn't a fantasy story. This is the Shilin Stone Forest, and the secrets hidden within its stony grip might just change how you see your own struggles. Deep in Yunnan, China, a landscape straight out of a legend stretches for over 500 square kilometers. Towering limestone pillars, some as tall as a 10-story building, jut out from the earth like a petrified army. It's breathtaking, it's surreal, and it looks completely inhospitable. Geologists tell us this place was once a shallow sea. Over 270 million years, the skeletons of marine life settled, compacted, and formed this massive limestone bed. Then, the earth shifted, lifting this seabed into the sky, where wind and rain began to carve it into the incredible pillars we see today. Logic dictates nothing should grow here. It's a literal rock garden on a colossal scale. And yet, life is here. Look closer. In the cracks and crevices of these stone giants, trees cling on with a tenacity that defies belief. Roots, like determined fingers, probe their way into microscopic fissures, searching for any hint of moisture, any speck of dust that could serve as soil. They twist and contort, their trunks hugging the stone as if for dear life. It's a silent, slow-motion battle against gravity, against erosion, against the very nature of their environment. These aren't just a few lonely saplings. It's a thriving ecosystem, a forest that by all accounts shouldn't exist. When I first learned about this place, I couldn't get it out of my head. It felt so familiar. How many times have we been told we need the right conditions to succeed? The right background, the right connections, the right resources. We're told we need fertile soil. But what if our starting point is stone? What if we come from a place where opportunities are scarce, where the environment feels designed to hold us back? We look at our own solid rock foundations and think, growth is impossible here. But the stone forest teaches us a different lesson. It shows us that life isn't about waiting for the perfect conditions. It's about adapting to the conditions you have. Those trees don't have deep, rich soil, so they learn to live with less. Their roots are masters of efficiency, finding and holding on to every single drop of water. They don't have wide-open spaces, so they learn to anchor themselves in the narrowest of cracks, using the very rock that restricts them as a source of stability. Think about that for a second. The obstacle became the anchor. The very thing that should have made their life impossible became the structure that holds them up, that allows them to reach for the sky. This is a profound shift in perspective. We so often see our limitations as just that, limitations. My lack of money, my lack of education, the place I was born, the mistakes I've made in the past. We see them as walls of solid rock. But what if, like the trees of Shilin, we could start seeing them as anchors? What if that lack of resources taught you to be more creative and resourceful than anyone else? What if your difficult past gave you a level of empathy and resilience that others can only read about? What if the struggle itself is what forges the strength you need to stand tall? The growth in the stone forest isn't easy. It's a slow, grueling process. A tree that might grow tall in a few decades in a normal forest might take a century to reach the same height here. Its trunk will be gnarled, its branches twisted. It won't look like the perfect tree. It will look like a survivor. It will bear the marks of its struggle. And isn't that so much more beautiful? Isn't a story of triumph over adversity infinitely more inspiring than a story of effortless success? Our scars, our struggles, the gnarled parts of our own stories, we try so hard to hide them. We want to present a perfect, polished version of ourselves to the world. We want to look like we grew up in a perfect, fertile valley. But the stone forest screams that there is profound beauty and strength in the struggle. Your journey, with all its twists and turns, is what makes you unique. It's what gives you character. It's what makes you strong. So, how do we apply this? How do we become a forest that grows from stone? First, we have to change our focus. Stop staring at the vastness of the rock and start looking for the cracks. No situation, no matter how impossible it seems, is a solid, impenetrable wall. There are always small fissures, tiny opportunities, little handholds you can grab onto. Maybe it's a small online course, a 15-minute conversation with someone you admire, a tiny new habit you can build. Find the crack. Second, be patient and persistent. The roots of the Shilin trees don't blast through the rock. They apply gentle, relentless pressure over years, over decades. Our own growth works the same way. You won't shatter your obstacles overnight. But by applying consistent effort, day in and day out, that tiny crack will widen. You will find your footing. Progress isn't always a giant leap. Sometimes it's just holding on through another storm, growing another millimeter. And finally, embrace your unique path. Stop comparing your gnarled, stone-grown trunk to the smooth, straight trees of the valley. Their journey is not your journey. Your strength was forged in a different fire. The resilience you have, the perspective you've gained, the tenacity that's now in your DNA, that is your superpower. The very thing you thought was your biggest disadvantage is the source of your greatest strength. The rock is your anchor. So the next time you feel stuck, the next time you look at your circumstances and see only solid, unyielding stone, I want you to remember this forest. Remember the trees that are clinging to life, and not just surviving, but thriving. They are reaching for the sun from a foundation of pure rock. They are a living monument to the idea that where you start does not have to determine how high you can climb. Your rock is not your tombstone. It is your foundation. Now, find your crack, plant your roots, and start growing. The world needs to see the beautiful, resilient, one-of-a-kind forest that only you can be. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider subscribing and joining our community. We explore more stories like this every week, finding inspiration in the most unexpected corners of our world. Until next time, keep growing.